Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little lamb.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your
Once famously said, America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves.
My personal favorite, James Madison, was just 25 years old when he signed the Declaration of Independence.
The Obama-Biden administration secretly launched a surveillance operation on the Trump campaign and silenced the many brave intelligence officials who spoke up against it.
Since his first day in office, President Trump has fought tirelessly to deliver results for all Americans, despite the Democrats' baseless and illegal impeachment sham.
Under President Trump's leadership, women's unemployment hit the lowest level since World War II. 4.3 million new jobs have been created for women.
During the Trump administration, business ownership among blacks, Hispanics, and females have reached all-time highs.
The Biden-Harris ticket are Catholics in name only.
Okay, so we had a fire hose of lies. Now we have a tsunami of lies. It's just, it's unbelievable. And we are in the middle of, it was like crisis night last night. You had a 17-year-old who was able to leave a protest after he had killed two protesters and wounded a third. 17-year-old kid walking around with a long gun. We now find out that he was in the front row of a Des Moines, Iowa Trump rally. He is a Blue Lives Matter cheerleader, and he was part of a militia that was being encouraged by the Kenosha police. I mean, this is just, we had a Category 4, 7 miles short of a Category 5 storm, slam into Lake Charles, Louisiana last night, and they changed the COVID testing rules because the president of the United States wants to slow the testing down because he thinks testing causes coronavirus. I don't know. And he gets caught doing that. Fauci apparently was in the hospital when they changed the CDC regs, and they lied to the American people. I mean, and then Mike Pence gets on a stage at Fort McHenry last night. You know, this was the worst abuse of Fort McHenry since the British attacked it, okay? The bombs were bursting in air last night, but they were lying bombs. They were bombs of lies. Somebody please check to see if the flag still waves. Somebody please, if that Star-Spangled Banner yet waves. Because that was an attack on Fort McHenry. I just... And tonight, this will be the most damage done to the White House since the British burned it down. Mike Pence is a world heavyweight champion liar, and the things he lied about were so sick. You know, one of the things that really stuck in my craw, gotta say, Mike Pence, the Trump campaign team, invited the widow of a police officer who was shot in Oakland by a white supremacist, by a ex-staff sergeant in the Air Force who became a boogaloo boy white supremacist. We've been over this. And that is why it's important that we go over this. Because they played such dirty freaking pool last night. I got to tell you, I was wigged out by this. This was so, what a dog and pony show it was. But here is Mike Pence introducing the widow of David Patrick Underwood, a police, he was a Border Patrol guy or DHS guy, which is a Border Patrol guy. And he's insinuating that Black Lives Matter is responsible for his death.
Know that the men and women that put on the uniform of law enforcement are the best of us. Every day, when they walk out that door, they consider our lives more important than their own. People like Dave Patrick Underwood, an officer in the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Protective Service, who was shot and killed during the riots in Oakland, California. Dave's heroism is emblematic of the heroes that serve in blue every day. And we're privileged tonight to be joined by his sister, Angela. Angela, we say to you, we grieve with your family. And America will never forget or fail to honor Officer Dave Patrick Underwood.
Fact check, please.
So when Vice President Pence talks about a police officer killed in a riot in Oakland or California, you probably think Black Lives Matter was the perpetrator, or Antifa, or someone on the left. In fact, the person charged with this murder is allegedly affiliated with the far-right extremist Boogaloo movement that seeks to kill police officers and take other actions to foment a second civil war or a race war. They're trying to use these protests as cover for their own ends. So again, Pence didn't directly say, this was a left-winger, but I think that was the clear inference, and it's just wrong.
That's how I took it. I mean, it is dirty pool.
Oh, for God's sake.
It was one big, giant tsunami of lies. It was insane. That was insane, okay? I have to tell you, that was just so offensive. And I don't know why Underwood's sister sat there for it. I really don't. Because obviously, Carrillo, that's the name of the man who killed David Patrick Underwood, was a Boogaloo boy white supremacist, not part of Black Lives Matter, which is exactly how they set that whole thing up last night. I'm telling you, it was bizarre. The president of the United States that they are presenting to us, I don't know who that is. I don't know who they're describing, but it ain't Donald Trump. They're trying to make you think that, and Mike Pence was trying to reassure everybody last night that the Donald Trump that we see in front of the cameras, the cruel and xenophobic and racist and China virus and murderers and rapists and MS-13 is going to come live next door to you and it's the end of suburbia, that racist is that is not the president they know. That when the cameras go off, he's not a heartless monster. Well, then here's my advice to you, Mike. Turn the cameras off, because he is a heartless monster when the cameras are on. He incites violence. He misappropriates anger. He's not interested in solving any problems, not health problems, has no health care plan in the middle of a pandemic, tells his people to slow the testing down, and God help us, they freaking do it. Insinuates that Black Lives Matter, who are out there trying to say there is an epidemic of racism in the police forces, in the judicial system, in the justice system. It's epidemic. It's out of control. Every day it's the same thing. It's the same thing every day, every day. You're not interested in solving that problem. You're interested in accusing them of causing their own death. Yes, all black people. It's death by cop. They're all suicidal, don't you know? Kellyanne Conway, I've seen firsthand many times the president has comforted and encouraged little children. Creep me out right now. Kayleigh McEnany or whatever. She's I had a prophylactic mastectomy because I have the BRCA2 gene. And one time, Donald Trump called me to ask how I was doing. That's our evidence that he's a caring guy. His sons, his daughters, they don't even talk about a warm and fuzzy memory of this. This is it's bizarre. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.